The transmission making use of radio frequency is called radio wave transmission. This is the signals from here to the satellite. It is called uplink, and this is called downlink. It is a direct line of sight transmission. It means that there should be a direct communication between the source and the destination, where there is a direct physical connectivity between the two computers in a lab or in a small office. That is local area network. Dear students, welcome to Computer Science classes. I am Ravi Kumar KR, lecturer in Computer Science, Vidhyaashram PU College, Temple of Excellence, Mysuru. Students, let us continue our discussion with the chapter Data Communication. So in this session, let us discuss about wireless technologies and protocols. Now let us start with what is wireless communication. So we have learned in the previous session about wired communication, means there is a direct physical connectivity between the sender and the receiver, or source and the destination, for a effective communication. Now here wireless communication, this means communication without the use of physical connectivity. That is a wireless technology where there is no direct physical connectivity between the sender and the receiver, or we can say between the two devices, source and the destination. They may involve two cell phones, these are the examples, and laptops or satellite communication. These are all different means of communication or wireless technologies. And computing devices are continuously connected to the base station. So the concept here is, in wireless communication, all the devices like laptop and cell phone and so on, all these are directly connected to a base station. Now wireless communication is the transmission of voice and data without cable or wires. So this is wireless communication. As I told you in the beginning, there is no direct physical connectivity between two devices in the network. So here, without any cable or without any wires, so we are using this communication for transmission of voice as well as data. And in place of physical connection, data travels through electromagnetic signals broadcast from sending facilities to intermediate and end user devices. So this is how the wireless communication works here. So what is the process here? First here the data and the information, whatever it is going to transmit not through physical cable or physical wire, but through electromagnetic signal. That is, we say sine waves, or through this signal is going to broadcasting from sending facilities to the intermediate station and end users devices. So this is what we call about base station. If I say intermediate station, it is a base station. It means that any message sending from one device, it goes to the base station, and from base station it goes to the end user devices or the destination. So this is how wireless communication functions. In the next slide, we will see what are different features of wireless communication. Now, the transmitted distance can be anywhere between a few meters, for example, televisions, remote control, and thousands of kilometers, for example, radio communication. This is an example for wireless communication where the distance can be in terms of few meters between the two devices, or it may be a radio communication as what you have seen, just like for example FM radio. You can compare the distance between from your devices to the communication channel or the base station. Now wireless communication can be used for cellular telephony, means by cells, by using mobiles, wireless access to the internet, and wireless home networking, and so on. These are all the different applications of wireless communication. Now other examples of radio wireless technology include GPS units and garage door openers and wireless computer mice. Mice is the plural of this. It is a mice, and it is computer mouse and keyboards and headset and headphones, radio receivers, satellite television, broadcast televisions and cordless telephones. See, these are all examples for wireless communications. So we are using most of the devices we are using in our day-to-day life. This is about the wireless communication with examples. Next one is we look into that one more technology, that is radio wave. It is one of the wireless technology. Now let us see what is a radio wave. The transmission making use of radio frequency is called radio wave transmission. So one of the technology of wireless communication is radio wave transmission. So what is the definition of this? It uses or it makes use of radio frequency for data transmission. It is referred as radio wave transmission. So there are two parts. One is transmitter and receiver. So the transmitter takes the messages, encodes it into a sine wave. See, this is what we call the signals or sine wave, and the receiver decodes the messages, and both transmitter and receiver use antennas to transmit and capture the radio signal. So this is how the radio signal or radio wave technology works here. Here there are two parts, one is transmitter and one is receiver. So what is the function of transmitter? It takes a message from the user and encodes it, and it will be transmitted in the form of signal. Then at the receiver end, this another component is called receiver. The receiver decodes these encoded messages, and transmitter and receiver use antenna. So this is one of the component of a physical device. So through antenna is going to capture or is going to gather the signals which has been sent from the transmitter or received from the receiver. Now look at the diagram here. So this is an example for a sine wave or a signals, and see this is a radio wave propagation. How is going to work? See, this one you might have seen everywhere in your city. So this is antennas. So this antenna, and this is transmitting antenna, and this is receiver antenna. So there are two concepts here. One is transmitter antenna for transmitting the signals, receiving the antenna, it is for receiving the data or signals from this transmitter. So here is a transmitter. So the transmitter line. Here we have base station. So any signal comes from the sender or from the source computer, it will goes to base station through this antenna. Then it is going through from the base station, it will be transmitted to the destination through another set of antennas. See, this is an example for radio wave technology. Now let us see what are the advantages of this. So it offers mobility. These devices which need not to be connected to a one place, so it can be movable. So that is mobility, and it is cheaper than digging for putting cables. So in terms of wired communication, as we have seen in our last session, so there might be a physical connectivity between the two computers. For that, it requires digging the ground and had to putting the cables. So those things are missing in radio wave or wireless communication because we are using different wireless technologies. And it offers freedom from land acquisition, and that is required for putting cable. So now if you look into the licensing part or license part of it, the service provider, one must have to take the permission from the concerned department, or he has to purchase the land for laying down these cables, and it requires a land acquisition and so many paperwork and so many procedures, and those things are missing in wireless communications. And what are the drawbacks or disadvantages? It is insecure communication. This is wireless communications are insecure as compared to wired communication, and radio wave signals are easily damaged by rain, thunder and storm. You might have seen in your day-to-day life or FM examples while you are listening to any FM station, for example, and if at all the weather condition is not so good, if suppose it's rainy or it's cloudy, in those cases, the signals may not transmit to the receiver properly. So then there might be a disturbance in data communication. So this is one of the drawback of this wireless communication or radio wave communication, because it is damaged by rain, thunder and storm. Now next we move on to one more technology, that is satellite communication. Now let us see the diagram of this. This is a satellite, and here you can see there are two stations here. There are two towers with the antennas here, and this is first one is called Earth Station, and this is second Earth Station. So this is the signals from here to the satellite. It is called uplink, and this is called downlink. It is the signals after the processing at the satellite, it moves back to the receiver station. So this is how the satellite functions or satellite communication works here. Now let us see the definition of this. So transmitting signals from Earth station to the satellite is called uplink. So it requires the process of sending a data or information from Earth station to the satellite. That is the first stage. And the receiving signal from a satellite is called as downlink. And once the data has been sent, the signal has been sent to the satellite, and again we have to receive the same signal after processing at the receiver end, at the receiving station. That is called as downlink. So satellite receives the signal, amplify it, and then sends it to the Earth station. This is called as processing. So what is amplifying here? Any signal, any data in the form of signal transmitted to the station, and at this station is going to amplify the signal, means it is going to boost the signal. Again, that will be sent to this receiver station or receiver Earth station. This is how the satellite communication function. Now let us see the advantages of this. So here large area can be covered, geographically larger area can be covered with the satellite communication. And again, putting and maintaining cables across the city will be difficult. So satellite communication is the solution, as we have seen in the previous slide. So for any wired type of communication, a wired communication, it requires a lot of licensing work or licensing work and paperwork, and they have to take the permission from the concerned department. It requires land acquisition and digging the ground, and you have to lay down the cables. So all these are difficult if you want to cover the larger area or across the city. In those situations, in those examples, satellite communication is the best solution for the user. Now it is used sparsely, lightly populated area. Means it is generally we are using in lightly populated area. And what is the drawback of this? The installation of hardware devices with respect to base station. So installation of devices at the base station as well as at the receiving Earth station, it is very difficult, or it requires lot of configuration and very expensive due to high investment. It is not a cost effective, or it requires high investment in terms of finance for this satellite communication. Next, we move on to one more technology, that is wireless communication, that is infrared transmission. So this is infrared transmission. Now we can understand what is the meaning of this through this diagram. And here we have some laptops or mobile devices and so many maybe hard disks or servers and data centers and so many things. So all these communication is possible among all the devices in the network with the help of infrared transmission. Again, it is a wireless communication. So this type of transmission uses infrared light to send the data. See, as we have seen in the radio wave, it uses radio frequency for data transmission. But here it uses infrared light or with respect to some particular frequency for data transmission. And it cannot penetrate through the walls. So one of the properties that it means that it cannot pass through any of the disturbance or wall-like structure. Now communication through the short distance wireless signal. So it is very effective or useful for short distance communication, and it is a secure communication and used in laptops. So this is the infrared communication. If you look at this diagram here, see the laptop and the mobiles, another type of computers, and all these are connected through this infrared transmission. Now let us move on to next technology, that is laser transmission, another form of wireless communication. So here, what is laser? You might have heard about laser or laser light. So here it is a direct line of sight transmission. It is a direct line of sight transmission. It means that so there should be a direct communication between the source and the destination. And it is unidirectional transmission. I mean, data can be sent only at once from one device to another device. And it is high speed than microwave communication. And it uses laser transmitter and photosensitive receiver at each end. So here again it has the two components. One is a transmitter and the receiver. So we have a photosensitive receiver at the each end. So this is the laser transmission. What are the drawback of this? It is damaged by weather condition, as we have seen in the radio wave communication, and it cannot travel through rain or thick fog. See, these are the drawbacks of this laser transmission, a type of wireless communication. Next, we move on to one more technology, that is Bluetooth technology. Nowadays, we are familiar with this technology, or we are using Bluetooth for different applications or to connect different types of devices. So here, what is a Bluetooth here? So Bluetooth is a wireless communication used to exchange data over short distance. So this is again for short distance data communication. So in terms of distance, maybe around 10 meters, but newer version can go further. There might be improvement in terms of distance between two devices. Now it is a short range wireless technology standard that allows devices to communicate with each other using radio waves in the 2.4 gigahertz bandwidth. So this is one of the Bluetooth technology and used for a short distance communication, so that many devices which can be connected or other devices, for example here all the devices can communicate with one to each other with the help of Bluetooth technology. Now let us see the features of Bluetooth here. One is for short distance and usually for 10 meters. This is the standard, this one, and up to 100 meter. So this is the short range, or we can say, so this is the range of this Bluetooth technology, or it's going to cover the devices within this range. And low power consumption, designed for portable devices, and ad hoc networking. It means that devices connected directly without the cable, because the wireless communication, so it can be connected through Bluetooth technology. We can transmit the data at the rate of 2 Mbps. So this is the data rate. In the next slide, the applications are uses. We're using wireless headphone, earphones and speakers, and file transfer between mobiles and computers. You might have experienced or worked with these type of examples. Now, wireless keyboards, mouse or mice, printers, and IoT devices, Internet of Things devices. It includes, for example, smartwatches, fitness bands, and smart home gadgets. All this works with the technology of Bluetooth. Next, car hands-free system. This is automated car where they have so many sensors, so it is possible to have a hands-free system. These are the applications of Bluetooth. And what are the advantages? Eliminate the need of cables, as it is a wireless communication. There will not be any direct physical connectivity between the two devices in a network, and easy to set up and use. And it supports multiple devices, for example up to 7 in a piconet. See, this is an example now. And low power consumption. And what are the drawbacks of this Bluetooth technology? Limited range compared to Wi-Fi. So this is the range, data range is limited as compared to Wi-Fi, and lower data transfer speed, and security risk if not paid properly. If not paid in the sense, if the two devices not connected properly, there is a threat with security. These are the drawbacks or limitations of Bluetooth. Next, we move on to one more concept, that is wireless LAN or WLAN. Now you know what is the meaning of LAN, that is local area network. So what is the meaning of local area network? Here in a computer network, the distance between two computers are very minimum. So for example, is a computer lab. There is a small office with around 9 to 10 computers. All these are example for LAN, that is local area network, where there is a direct physical connectivity between the two computers in a lab or in a small office. That is local area network. But what is wireless LAN? So here the technology is wireless. So here it is again a local area network with the technology, wireless technology or wireless communication. So we are going to have a network of devices with the help of wireless technology. It means that there is no direct physical connectivity between the two different devices or multiple devices in a network, and all these are connected through different technology what you have learned so far. So here, now let us see what is the definition of wireless LAN. So it is a local area network and it uses radio waves instead of physical cables and connect devices like laptop, smartphone and etc. This is a definition of wireless LAN. Now it is a type of LAN where devices are connected wirelessly using Wi-Fi technology. So this is we are using radio waves. Data is transmitting through radio waves as we have seen in the slide, and also Wi-Fi technology we are using for this communication and enabling communication and data sharing without wired connection. That is the definition of wireless LAN. Now, what are the features of wireless LAN here? The coverage area. So, it is up to 100 meters indoor. Generally, we are using wireless LAN. The approximately it is 100 meters of distance, and it varies with router and obstacles. So, generally, it is going to cover a distance of 100 meters in a network. And what's the medium of transmission? So it uses radio frequency. This is the frequency through which data is transmitted in a wireless LAN. Now let us say what are all different components of wireless communication. Now we can see the diagram here. This is a wireless application, a wireless LAN here. See, this is wireless LAN with the infrastructure and this access point, and this device we're accessing this services. So this is the LAN. This is a type of LAN, local area network, and this access point. So here, now if you look at the components here, it has access point. What is an access point? It acts as a hub or connecting wireless devices to the wired network. So what you have seen in the diagram, here is access point. It acts as a hub where it's going to connect the wireless devices in a network to the wired communication or to the wired devices. That is the function of access point. And wireless network interface card, it is NIC. NIC is a network interface card and it is wireless NIC. It means that built into laptops, phones or dongles for desktops. So these are the different devices where that is called NIC, network interface card. We are connecting wireless LAN or we are connecting devices in a wireless LAN network. Next is a router. It provides internet access and network management. So router is a network device. You might have heard about is a router. It is a network device we are using in data communication. So same router we are using in wireless LAN. So what is the function of it? It is used for accessing the internet and also network management, the wireless LAN network management. Now let us see the advantages of this wireless LAN. No need for cables, because it is a wireless communication or wireless LAN. It supports mobility as it is wireless communication. So any of the devices or the devices which are in a wireless LAN, it can be moved from one location to another location within that range. So that is mobility. Easy to expand means just add and more devices within the coverage. So easy for adding additional devices in the wireless LAN network. And what are the limitations? Nothing but what are the drawbacks? So here, slower speed of communication compared to wired LAN. In generally, wireless communication is slow as compared to wired communication. So there is a one point is this. Second one is signal interference from walls, microwave ovens, Bluetooth, etc. So there is an interference. Interference means crossing of signals, as what you can say generally crosstalk. So that is one of the drawback of this. Now less secure unless encryption. And here it also uses some of the protocols for securing the data, and limited range compared to wired connections. So wireless LAN, it is limited, the range is limited. Next we move on to one more concept, that is called protocols. So protocols is one of the main component or main part of data communication. So with this wired data communication or wireless data communication, we have different protocols. So what are the protocols? Let us see the definition of protocols. In communication, protocol is a set of standard rules that the communicating parties, the sender and the receiver, and all other intermediate devices need to follow. So protocol is nothing but it is a set of rules for transmitting the data in a network, and here both the sender and the receiver, they must agree with the rules and regulations of this protocol. So here the sender and the receiver must follow the protocol or must follow the rules of the protocol for effective communication. And here, what are the functions of the protocols here? How computers identify one another on a network. So it is possible with the help of protocol. One of the function is that to identify one computer in a network. So if there are 10 computers in a network, it is possible to identify other devices in a network with the help of this protocol. Now, the form to which the data should be converted for transmit. So whatever the data we are sending from the computer, at a certain stage, it needs to be converted to some other form, because of through cable data has to be transmitted, or data has to be transmitted through different technology of wireless technology. For that, conversion should take place. That is also can be done with the help of protocols. Then it decides whether the data received is for that node or to be forwarded to another node. So another function of protocol is whatever the data we have sent to one node, node is nothing but one of the computer. So whether the data is to a particular node or it need to be transmitted to some other node, that can also be done with the help of this protocol. Next one is ensuring that all the data have reached the destination without any loss. So it makes sure that data which has been sent from the sender must reach the destination without any problem or without any data loss. That is another function of this protocol. How to rearrange the packets and process them at the destination end. So while transmitting, the data is broken down into number of packets, and all the packets may not transmit in the same order. So different packets of the same data or the same message going to reach the destination by following different paths. So in that process, at the destination, all the packets are reached in different time, in different order, and at the end of this, it has to be rearranged or reassembled at the receiver end for the meaningful data. So this is another function of this protocol. What are all different protocols we can use in our data communication? So first one is HTTP, Hypertext Transfer Protocol. So it stands for Hypertext Transfer Protocol. It is a primary protocol used for to access the World Wide Web. Now all of you know what is World Wide Web, and you might be familiar with the how to Google different types of information through website or through web server. So that is there we are using a protocol. HTTP is the protocol. It is the primary protocol which is going to help the user to access the information from the World Wide Web. Next one is FTP. It's a file transfer protocol. FTP stands for file transfer protocol. It is a protocol used for transferring files from one machine to another machine. One computer or one node to another computer or another node in a network by using FTP protocol. Like HTTP, FTP also works on client-server model. Next one is PPP, or say point-to-point protocol. So this is the protocol which establishes a dedicated and direct connection between the two communicating devices. This protocol defines how two devices will authenticate each other and establish a direct link between them to exchange the data. So what's the meaning of point-to-point communication or a protocol? So here this protocol, what is the responsibility of this, is going to establish a direct connection. Is going to direct connection between the two devices, and you have to authenticate each other and establish a connectivity. So first is going to establish the connectivity between the two network devices and by authenticating at both the end. Then after that, data will be exchanged between two devices, that is with the help of PPP, point-to-point protocol. Next one is SMTP, Simple Mail Transfer Protocol. And here it is a protocol used for email services. It uses information written on the message header and not concerned with the content of the email messages. So this is SMTP, a type of protocol used for email services. And TCP/IP, it is called as TCP/IP or Transmission Control Protocol and Internet Protocol. So TCP/IP stands for Transmission Control Protocol and Internet Protocol. This is a combination of two protocols referred as TCP/IP. So it is a set of standardized rules that uses client-server model of communication in which user or the machine requests a service by the server in the network. So if we talk about client-server technology or model, here the client had to send a request to the server and server will respond to the client's request. That's the concept of client-server technology, and TCP/IP is used for client-server model. Next one is IP protocol, Internet Protocol. It is a part of TCP/IP. So what is IP, Internet Protocol? It ensures that each computer or node connected to the internet is assigned an IP address which is used for identifying each node in a network independently. So now we have learned that all computers are in a network which has to be connected to each other, and how the computers or nodes are identified in a network through this IP address, or we say IP address, or nothing but IP protocol, Internet Protocol. So this protocol, it assigns a unique address to each and every node in a computer network, so that each node independently accessed or identified in a network. That is the function of IP protocol. And this TCP, it ensures that message or data is broken down into smaller chunks called packets. End of these packets are routed through the internet along with the path from one router to another or next router until it reaches the specified destination. Here, TCP is the Transmission Control Protocol, what you have seen in the previous slide here. This is the protocol responsible for data delivery at the destination. And before transmitting the data through the network, this data is divided into or broken down into number of chunks, a number of blocks called as packets, and each packet is moved over the network, transmitted over the network, and with different routes to reach the destination. So in that case, at the destination end, at the destination computer, all the packets which has been received in any order, in different order, are assembled together to get the meaningful information that will be reached at the destination. That is the responsibility of TCP protocol, and it guarantees the delivery of packets. So this is going to provide guaranteed delivery of data from host to the destination, or from source to the destination, and on the destination IP address. Each computer or a node in the network is identified with the help of IP address, and TCP makes sure that the data which has been addressed to which IP address, and the data goes to the respective IP address with the help of TCP protocol. It is also responsible for ordering the packets so that they are delivered in sequence. So as I have told you in this point, the different packets of the same message can reach the destination and by following different path or different route. But at the end, finally, it has to be reassembled. It has to be grouped in a sequence so that to get the meaningful result or meaningful information that will be delivered to the destination computer. Dear students, so far in this session, we have discussed about wireless communications and definition of wireless communication and different wireless communication technologies, and also a concept of protocols. Let us continue our discussion in my next session. Thank you so much.